guys, it's me, Rena from Snailworks Crochet, and let's talk some March updates. Not sure if you noticed this, but I did get a haircut. I like it. I have been in this mood where I need to chop off all my hair, and so I did, and I feel great. I've always just preferred having short hair in general. I haven't had long hair in quite a long time, but enough about me. I'm comfy on my couch. Let me readjust myself a little bit to be a little bit more comfy. And I'm gonna talk crochet updates while working on the March portion of my temperature blanket. For me, there's actually quite a bit going on in March. I have been traveling for work quite a bit. Almost every single week in March I've been traveling, and it is taking its toll on my body. Also, with the changing seasons right now, they're just kind of flip-flopping all over the place. My body is not happy with this right now. So I've been sneezing like crazy. I think my pollen allergy is starting to come back again, so I've been needing to take Claritin. You know, sneezing everywhere is no bueno. In regards to the current projects that I'm working on for crochet, I haven't really done a lot of projects. I mean, to be fair, I always have too many whips, right? I have an unlimited amount of whip. This temperature blanket right here is a whip. A couple of bigger projects that I've been wanting to do, but my work travel schedule has kind of prevented me from doing that. So I've been kind of doing smaller things here and there. Like my last video that you may have seen is my soap sack video, where I just decided to make a bunch of soap sacks for a charity. I mailed like half of them, and I still need to fill my other box with the soap sacks because I still have quite a bit of soap and quite a bit of cotton yarn. That soap sack pattern I found online is super easy. I think I've been able to memorize a pattern right now, and I highly enjoy it. It's one of those patterns I could definitely make over and over again. For now, if I'm making soap sacks, I would just do it for charity, but honestly, maybe later down the line I might sell them, but I don't know if I want to sell them on Etsy. I'd probably sell that at like a craft fair or something, if craft fair ever happens at this point. Context as to what I mean by that. My friends and I from work, we all want to do a craft fair, but all of us are so busy with either work or personal things. So the idea is that me and 3 other friends from work want to do a craft booth together, and we want to like just sign up for one, split the cost of the fees, and then sell goods in our own respective craft. Me with crochet, my friend with sewing, I have a friend who draws, and I have a friend who wool felts. So all that together in one booth is gonna be great. The unfortunate reality is that we need photos on a social media to actually be even considered for a craft fair. So, and just none of us have had time to put anything together. None of us have had time to take photos or style them appropriately and all that. I make a lot of stuff, but I'm really bad at social media. One of us, thankfully, is really good at social media. One doesn't have social media, and then I think the other one is just kind of like me, where we just post what we feel like rather than like the whole aesthetic, curated social media page. Now, speaking of like fiber art social media, it's kind of interesting how it is right now. Now that I'm actually making my own content, I obviously now follow a lot of fiber arts channels, both knitting and crochet. Mostly crochet, to be honest. I don't follow knitting as much because I don't knit, and my knitting skills are lacking in a lot of ways. You know, speaking it out loud, is this considered a crochet podcast? I've seen some discourse around this, right? Especially in knitting social media, where you have people, they call them knitting podcasts, where they share what they're doing, projects they worked on, yarn they've bought, and they yap in front of the camera, and they are called a podcast. Now, you know, I've seen a lot of people online say, if it's a video, why are you calling it a podcast? But, you know, I've I watched a couple of podcasts that are in video form that are on YouTube, and then they just re-upload the audio version somewhere else. But yeah, they're called knitting podcasts, and normally people in these are knitting, and they're talking about the things they're working on in addition to some of their personal life things too. And it had me thinking about my own content a little bit. And is this technically a crochet podcast? I don't know. Because it's definitely not a vlog, because I'm not showing you other parts of my house. Well, I guess this is outside of the norm of my normal videos where I am in my office area. Yeah, because I'm not really showing you my day in video format. And I know I'm just yapping in front of the camera, but I'm also on camera working on a project, so there's a visual element. But to some extent, I'm also just yapping in front of the camera. So yeah, is this a podcast? I'll do it. I basically make one of these anyway. You know what, why not just call this a monthly crochet podcast? Speaking of the whole like vlog versus podcast format and knitting social media, I actually decided to look up the discourse behind it on the Craftsnark Reddit. And for those of you who do not know the Craftsnark Reddit, it's pretty self-explanatory. It's people on Reddit like basically snarking. So I feel like snarking is a pretty common enough word that most people would know it. It's people on Reddit snarking about influencers in the crafting community, which, fair. The discussions can range from like just attitudes online to calling out influencers who are basically trying to exploit their audience. Sometimes they might even talk about actual individual creators as well. We're all on it. I'm not going to deny that I don't go on it. We know, right? And obviously another thing you'll find on Craftsnark in relation to crochet and knitting is the whole acrylic or natural fibers debate, you know, so on and so forth. But I decided to consult the Craftsnark Reddit thread for some general tips of what to do and what to avoid, at least in a crochet podcast, since it is something I am considering doing. There are a couple of common elements that I saw. One, get better audio. Look, man, that's TBD. Outside of, you know, high quality audio for something called a podcast, which I understand. Not everyone is techie. I get it. Including me. Outside of technical details, one, try not to go too deep into personal stuff, because no one's following you for your personal life. People are following you for your crochet journey. At least in my case, that is what I'm doing, is just posting videos about me crocheting stuff. You know, the second content-wise piece of criticism I see of a lot of knitting podcasts is people who post too often. Because if you post every single week your whip, you're kind of just talking about the same thing. And I tend to agree with that. And then the third one is to stop showing your kids, which, yeah, you probably shouldn't show your kids in your content. Keep that offline. I think another post I saw also was, it's one thing if you're on a live stream and you're doing a podcast live to have, you know, a lot of stuttering and all that, but also try and edit down your content, which I think I tried to do a decent amount. Even though I'm not the best at editing, I stutter like crazy. I speak in a lot of half sentences, and it's kind of a struggle, honestly. It's not even a discomfort around the camera thing anymore. I just can't speak properly. I speak in half sentences. So I have to cut down a lot of my videos when I edit it because I can't speak properly. I understand that criticism, and I also agree with that. We'll see how this works out, if this crochet podcast thing works out for me. In the realm of sharing updates for my crochet podcast, I think I already shared a personal update, which was the fact that I'm traveling like crazy. But as I've been traveling like crazy, I have actually also been crocheting, and I'm also trying to make a slight effort to check out local yarn stores every time I travel. I wasn't able to go to a local yarn store in Chicago, but I was able to go to one in Boise, and I ended up buying a skein of hand-dyed yarn from the shop. It was pretty cool. I think the intention I had for buying that skein was a shawl, like one of those dragon shawls, but we'll see how that turns out because I'm a little concerned about the amount I have since I only bought one skein of fingering weight yarn. I feel like I should have bought two, but I'm gonna have to find a very lacy shawl pattern to make. Now, another acquisition I made was actually the Katia granny yarns, and you will be seeing a video about that on Saturday, I believe. That will be Saturday's upload. I was influenced by Michelle Jacek. She got the Concept Merino Granny baby yarn from her friend at her local yarn shop. And when I saw that, I was like, well, I gotta buy it now. But for me, I bought all three of the Granny Square yarns that Katia had on the website. One is the Concept Merino Granny. The other is Concept Organic Cotton Granny. And then the last one is the Instant Granny. So that company actually has 3 sets of Granny Square yarns on their website. And I think that's cool. And I'll give you a sneak peek of my review. This is one of the Granny Squares I made with one of the Granny Square yarns. The yarn itself is fantastic, and if I bought literally any other yarn that wasn't the Granny Square yarn, I would absolutely love it. But the Granny Square dyeing process leaves a lot to be determined. I only made one per product, and I have a rough idea of what I want to do with the squares I make with that yarn, but that's gonna be a problem for not now. I guess that's it for yarn acquisitions, with the exception of my Joann's liquidation haul, which, oh god, calling it a liquidation haul is still awful, but so funny at the same time. That video did surprisingly well for my channel, and I don't get a lot of views on my channel at all, but that video got a lot more views compared to some of my other uploads, and I'm kind of concerned about why. So I was looking through my channel analytics. On the channel analytics, there's like a AI idea generator of, to help you generate ideas of what would do well on your channel. And one of the ideas it generated were yarn hauls, which, a lot of people complain about sustainability, people buying too much yarn, but it does well online. So it makes you wonder, are they the problem or are they just a symptom of the overarching problem? Think about it a little bit. If yarn hauls are what AI YouTube idea generator comes up with for how to get more views on your channel, on your, crochet knit channel, yet people complain about why there's so many yarn haul videos, maybe that's why, actually. Again, my Joann's liquidation haul doesn't have that many views in the grand scheme of things because I'm a tiny YouTube channel with like 300 something subscribers. I mean, I appreciate that, but in the YouTube ecosphere, that's not a lot. But somehow that video, it's not my highest ranking video, but it definitely got a lot more views than I was expecting from my normal uploads. Outside of yarn acquisitions, I guess for some projects that I'm working on and my current work in progress, I am working on a cardigan that I explicitly use for travel only. It is the Lightly Toasted cardigan by Idichi. I'm not entirely sure how to say her name. I will have more updates on that when I get back from my next trip, which is tomorrow. I have a flight out of here at 6 a.m. tomorrow. Not excited for it. But in addition to that, I obviously have, my March temperature blanket here. I'm also working on a costume for a cosplay group. So I've never really done cosplay. It's something I've always wanted to do. But I have friends who do cosplay, and they are way more involved and way better at it than I am, by a lot. And we all decided that we want to do a group Shrek cosplay. And that is gonna be so fire. I am super excited. But I have decided that I'm going to be Dragon from Shrek. And I found this pattern online of the Crochet Dragon hat by Alexandra Massey, and I am making it right now. I finally finished the baseball cap version, and let me show you real quick. So I haven't weaved in the ends at all, but this is the crochet baseball cap. But essentially, I got this crochet baseball cap. The pattern is okay, honestly. I think she's always been more of an artist than a designer. The original designer sews it onto the hat, but I don't really want to do that because I want to be able to put on and take off this dragon hat as much as possible. But it came out okay. But yeah, this is the base of it, and then I'm gonna have to put on the dragon details to make it look like a dragon. So that's pretty exciting. And I also have the box of Hot 500 squares that I still need to work on, which I have definitely been behind on due to the travel, and also just due to the labor involved in sewing them all together. But yeah, I think that's kind of it for my March crochet updates. I do have some future plans of things I do want to do later on, but I'm kind of blanking on what those are right now. So I might just end it here. If I follow the advice from the Craftsnark Reddit, I should just keep it to crochet and not get too personal. So with that, I will conclude my video here, and thank you for watching if you made it this far through my yapping. And what have you worked on in the month of March? Let me know down in the comments. And also, what are your thoughts on crochet or knit podcasts? Like, do you like them? Do you not? Is this basically a crochet podcast? Let me know. And with that, I will see you later. Bye.